your title is Game Changer or Devastation. And if you want to talk about a game changing, you have to understand what game is it. Yudhvir already talked about the 98 disaster. It was totally fabricated. I sent colleagues to the hospitals. There were supposed to be 7 cases of dropsy. No case of dropsy was in the hospital. But all of our mustard oil was banned and 5 lakh ghanis were shut down. In 97, we were 97% self-sufficient in edible oils. And it wasn't just the palm. The palm oil lobby doesn't have the kind of power that the GMO soya lobby has. That year, they declared India to be the El Dorado of soya. The bound duty in WTO used to be 300%. It was dropped to 0%. The United States was giving $190 a ton to subsidize the GMO soya oil. And our government was giving 15 rupees a kilogram to subsidize it in the ration shops. The mustard was displaced, as Yudhvir says, through a conspiracy to take over India's edible oil system. We started the Sarson Satyagraha because women from the slums of Delhi called me to say, our children, हमारे बच्चे रो रो के भूखे सो रहे हैं क्योंकि सोया का बना हुआ खाना वो खा नहीं पा रहे. आप सरसों वापस लाओ. So I did a 1-week study. We brought out a book on mustard versus soya. I called Sahib Singh Verma, the then Chief Minister of Delhi, to receive the first bottle of a Sarson Satyagraha oil, of pure organic oil. So many people have talked about the fact that GM contamination is inevitable and it's highest in the brassica species. Canada went for GM Roundup Ready canola. Within a few years, all of their canola had been destroyed. It was their biggest export to Europe. Europe stopped importing the Canadian canola because of contamination. So when we are talking about the purity of our mustard, we need to be aware of the genetic contamination. Yeah. Do you want poisoned food or do you want rejections from markets? A lot of talk, the scientists talked about no one's importing soy or mustard. Just look at the United States laws. Are they allowing Ayurvedic drugs? No. Only as supplements. They do not allow mustard as food. This is, the Treasury Secretary was in India. This is the kind of discussion we should be having with that country, because every multinational in agriculture, Cargill wrote the agreement on agriculture, Monsanto wrote the agreement on TRIPS, and Coke, Pepsi wrote the agreement on sanitary and phytosanitary measures. Now, if we have to sort out our food problem, we have to sort out these 3 corporations, and we have to sort out the American lobbying behind these corporations. It is so clear that American lobbying is what dropped the import duties to allow the flooding of our markets. So to all the scientists who think that a few more toxic genes in our crops is going to solve an unfair, unjust trade war, please read the WTO agreement. Look at the Swadeshi Jagran Manch's literature on trade. Look at all the work we've done. Kishanbir Chaudhary is there. He was with me in Hong Kong WTO. We've been saying seeds don't belong into an international trade treaty. They are a national heritage. Food does not belong to an international trade treaty. It's about national food sovereignty and food security. These are the issues that have been used to undermine our food sovereignty and our edible oil sovereignty. So a question was asked, how do we address it? A, grow more mustard, and in the zones, I would say to every state that wants to protect its mustard cultivation and edible oil cultivation, just ban the GMO from entering, which will ruin the integrity and organic status. Second, correct all these international systems. The United States should be told mustard is the most healthy edible oil. Your corporations pumped industrial oil that have caused sickness everywhere. I think the Ayush Ministry should be involved in the assessment of this GMO and all GMOs. It's not, I think scientists should be responsible and not talk technology. They should be talking about the particular transformations. They should be telling the people that a Barnase gene for male sterility to kill the cells of the plant is introduced. And then the bars start to resurrect it. But we know there's genetic leakage all the time. There's fluid genomes. And there's nothing that says that that Barnase gene will stay intact. It has glyphosate tolerance, as was mentioned with the bar. It has the cauliflower mosaic virus, which has been recognized to cause huge harm. It has antibiotics resistance markers. It has the agrobacterium tuberculum. We are talking about not one toxic transformation, but we are talking about a lethal transformation of our most precious crop, the color of our spring, Basant Panchami. This year's Basant Panchami, let us, all of us, celebrate our Basant, our freedom, and a boycott of both the trials as well as any chance of commercialization. I'm with all of you who will continue the Sarson Satyagraha, who will continue the Beat Swaraj, who will continue our Anna Swaraj. Thank you.